Hello everyone, it's me. Today is February the 3rd, 2021. I'm a little late on getting this video out, probably about 3 or 4 weeks too late, but I still want to put the information out because there'll be people out there who won't know, and this could serve as some benefit to them. Okay, now right now you've been seeing prices going up, and they're about to get considerably much higher. You're going to see some serious inflation. Every time you get that stimulus check, you're going to notice prices are going to increase. Not because just because you're getting a stimulus check, it's because the money that they're printing to make it is diluting the value of the money that's already out there. So if it took $5 to buy something, now it's going to take $6. So every time you get that stimulus check and you think you're getting free money, no, you're going to pay for it. And it's going to make everything go up. Your gas bills, your electric bills, water, food, gas at the gas station. You're going to start noticing things are going to start climbing. And whether it's quantitative easing, whether it's supply and demand, real supply and demand, or the shortages, or what I also feel is the all-time favorite word of mine, just plain greed, prices are about to go up. So the best thing I could tell you to do right now is stock up now, because even though you find that today's prices are going to seem high to you, I can tell you right now, compared to what they're going to be later in the summer or toward the end of this year, today's prices are going to seem like a bargain. It's what I told someone this past weekend at the gun show. He was shocked at how high the bullet prices were. And I was like, well, after right around April, these prices are going to seem like a deal. So you better bite the bullet and suck it up basically and go on and get what you need, or you're going to be faced with not having nothing at all, and then later not being able to get anything when there's nothing available. So right now, if you have not started doing any serious prepping, your homework, your first goal is going to be to build your 30-day supply of food. For those that's been out there in it, 90 days to 6 months should be your goal. But if you're just getting started, 30 days minimum, because if we go into another lockdown, you're going to need at least that at a minimum. And, you know, I've been having people telling me that based on their bill structure and what they're facing, that they can't afford to prep. They can't afford to put extra food back. And, you know, I mentioned to them taking advantage of the 10 for $10 sale items at the grocery stores, the two for $5, whatever, where you can get 2 of something or get 10 of something for a special, to take advantage of that. But they keep telling me that they can't do it. So part of today's video is going to be what I call eating on the cheap. Okay, if you have to stock up, these are items I'm going to show you cost very little money, and then on top of it, which I feel is the best thing of all, none of it requires refrigeration. And then let's start off with building that food supply. Cooking oils. A lot of people forget to put cooking oils into their preps. You know, like here, got coconut oil. Extra virgin olive oil. Got a little Crisco shortening here. Now, let me tell you on cooking oils, and I don't know if you know this or not, and there's others. There's different vegetable oils. There's canola oil. You can also get peanut oils and stuff. But the thing with oil is it's not very shelf stable. Most of the cooking oils go bad in a year to 2 years. The only one that has any real shelf life is going to be the coconut oil. You can get 2 to 4 years out of it if it's stored in the right temperature. Now, if you live in an extremely hot climate area where your kitchen is going to be 85 degrees or warmer, your coconut oil is actually going to liquefy. But that does not mean that coconut oil is bad. You can still use that oil. It just won't maintain its solid status that it would have. It will start to liquefy. but it's still good to use. And if you got bacon around, you can also use bacon grease. I mean, I grew up, my mother and grandmother always used bacon grease. They used to save it and then use it to cook with. But that's another alternative there. But one of the things that you do need to know, again, most of the oils, except for coconut oil, will only last a year to 2 years. Now, once you open them up, like olive oil or vegetable oil, that shelf life goes way down. You're talking anywhere from 6 to 8 months. So what would have kept for a year to two under the right conditions is now only good for 6 months, 8 months at the longest once you open the container. Now, again, coconut oil will last a lot longer. You do lose half the shelf life once you open it, but it still goes far beyond what the others do. But definitely make sure that you include some sort of cooking oils in with your preps, as well as other seasonings, because seasonings are going to change the flavor of the foods. It's going to make it more palatable and easy for your group to eat, especially if you're eating foods that they would normally turn their nose up at. The more seasonings you got, and also include your seasonings bouillon cubes, because those also change the flavor of products, and they're relatively cheap as well. What I'm going to show you are some items that I call eating on the cheap, and any one of these could be a meal, and then also by mixing them with some of the others that I'm about to show you, those things will make it easy for you to be able to get creative, especially if you got a little flair in the kitchen, to make different meals. Because let's say if all you had was just rice and beans, I can tell you right now, after eating rice and beans for 3 days, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're going to be fed up with it. So let's start off with just regular beans. I don't care what type. I prefer pinto beans, black beans, and red beans, but you can get other types of beans as well. Rice. Now, rice is going to be your carbs, and that's going to give you some fuel for your body. Rice is still cheap right now. There's a shortage of it going on in the world, especially overseas. So you definitely want to start getting your rice stocked up now. Now with the rice and beans, that's a meal by itself. Now if you want to add some cheese, some other things to that, then you're talking changing up the taste of it. But just rice and beans, if you went to Chipotle and you walk in there, that's the first two things they're going to ask you. What rice do you want? What beans do you want? And then they go down the list. So if you've got a garden growing where you've got some vegetables, or you know where to find wild onions or different things, you can almost put together little Chipotle bowls for you to eat. Now next, and rice and beans is really, really cheap. So there's no excuse why you can't cut your budget to be able to come up with money to buy rice and beans. Next is what I call like whole meals in a can. Like this Denny Moore beef stew. That's a whole meal in a can. And you can have cans of chili. You can always find them on sale. And again, take advantage of 10 for 10 deals or whatever. And then the most expensive chili that I found to buy is the Skyline chili. But again, variety is the key to life. If you're eating the same thing every day, you're going to get burned out. I can take the Skyline chili, some hot dogs, and a little bread, and have some coney dogs. If I wanted to spice up my hot dogs. You could take that Skyline, mix it with some spaghetti. That's a meal by itself. Add onions to it. That changes the flavor. Then if you want, you can take the Skyline, again, spaghetti, add some cheese. You definitely want to stock shredded mozzarella cheese and shredded cheddar. Sprinkle that on, you got 3-way chili. Add some good old beans to it with some onions. You got 4-way, you can make a 5-way, but you got 5 different things that you can create just between skyline chili, some spaghetti, and then whatever additives you want to add to that. Then another thing that's pretty cheap, little, what do they call these things? Vienna sausages. Little Vienna sausages with a little bit of sweet baby rays. It changes the flavor, makes it pretty good to eat. You always stock up cans of tuna. This is always on sale. There's no excuse why you cannot stack up on some tuna fish. Again, does not require no refrigeration. What we got right here is Spam. Super long shelf life. Fry it, cook it, barbecue it. I mean, even when I was in Hawaii on my honeymoon, I found that the Hawaiians, the meat in their chili was Spam. And when I ate it, it was good. I mean, they put Spam in almost everything. And that really surprised me. And another thing that you should be able to stock, canned chicken. Not super expensive, but you can make chicken salad. You just cook different recipes with this, and adding some of the other additives of seasoning with it, you've got a meal. And then if you just want to have a meal on Friday night, spaghetti and spaghetti sauce. That's a meal by itself. You can stack that up in a bucket, put you some cans of the spaghetti sauce in a bucket, line the outer outsides with boxes of spaghetti. That's a meal. Another meal costs you no more than $1. And this is the Knorr's rice sides. You fill up a bucket full of these. They come in different flavors. You're only talking $1. Another thing, and I know some of you are going to say, top romaine noodles. All you need is hot water, and you've got a meal. No refrigeration necessary. You could fill up a bucket full of them and put the lid on it, and you might say, well, it don't have that much nutritional value, but I can tell you what, if it's all you got to eat, they taste good. And again, you can add other things to it. You could add Spam to them. You could add other things to them to change the flavor profile and change the nutritional value. Then another thing that you can go with that changes changes the flavor is salsa. Barbecue sauce. Italian dressing, ranch dressing. You can put ranch dressing on just vegetables and eat that. You can have cans of cheese sauce or con queso sauce. All of this changes the flavor of the foods that you're eating. And like I said, bouillon cubes, because that's one of the nice things about rice, is you can put it in with some bouillon cubes, cook it, and rice takes on the flavor of whatever you fix it with. And if you just want to have breakfast in the morning, oatmeal. Very healthy, very nutritious for your body, and that could be your breakfast in the morning. Adding fruit to it, or some other little things, some hard nuts or whatever, that all, or freeze-dried fruit, that changes the flavor as well. So sugar, flour, different things like that you definitely want to have in your pantry. But adding any of the items that I just said, they're very inexpensive, and there's no excuse why you can't put together a 30-day food pantry that would also include water, and definitely include water, because you're only going to go 3 days without it. Now, I personally, I'm a member of Sam's Club, Warehouse Club. I buy the 32 bottle cases of water, and just so you know, in case you don't know, bottled water has a 2-year shelf life. And it's not that the water starts to go bad, it's the containers, the plastic containers that they're in, they start to degrade, and that changes that water at that point. But definitely you want to have some cases of bottled water. Now for me, I found that 10 to 15 cases of water is enough water for a family of 4 to 6 to last them 30 days to 6 weeks. Now, somewhere in that 30 days, you're going to know if it's safe for you to remain in your home or if you should go ahead and vacate the property. Then, my last point I want to bring up is going to be, well, let me stay with food. You're going to want to have toiletries, toilet paper, toothpaste. You want to stock your medicines as much as you can. If you can stock fuel, gasoline, kerosene, propane, because you need the ability to be able to travel, you need the ability to be able to heat and cook with. And if you can't afford to stock fuels, at least stock you some bags of charcoal so that you can at least run your grill, because you have to have the ability to be able to cook. Then another thing that I'd want to recommend right now, if you're pretty advanced, you've got most of the stuff already, start building your community. Start looking for people who have skills that if we get into a Great Depression or we get into bad times ahead, which I do feel that they're coming, have it set up to where you can get with people and they won't look at you coming and think, oh boy, what does he want? Why is he must want something, he wouldn't be coming around. Have you a relationship established with them people. And if you want, tell them that, you want them to be a part of your community, and let them know that, and tell them why you see them as being valuable, and let them know that you have skills yourself. Let them know that you guys can set up a little barter and trade between you. I met someone here recently, and she told me the only real skill she has is that she can sew real well. But she didn't see that as being having much value. Well, I don't sew. If I get holes in my clothes or whatever and have to keep using them, that's a valuable skill. I could call her up and say, hey, I got some clothes need to be sewed or some pants need to be hemmed. Maybe I can trade some canned goods with you or something. I think that's a great skill. A few years back, I ran into a girl that told me that she didn't have any skills, but she was a nurse. And I told her right then and there, I said, that's one of the most valuable skills. I would take you into my group in a minute, because I would want to have people with medical skills. I mean, you want to have someone that's got gardening skills. If you know a farmer that you can trade with later, that's going to sell produce, wonderful. You got a plumber, you got an electrician. Do you know someone that's a mechanic that can work on your car? Any of these skills are super valuable. The more you can learn yourself, the better. But one man cannot cover all the bases. You can't keep one foot on first and be crossing third. You literally got to take your foot off first to run for second, take your foot off second to run for third, but you're leaving other bases open. You got to be able to count on having a community of people built up with skills that you can fall back on. And when they see you coming, they're happy to see you coming and not thinking, oh, what does he want? He must want something, because you have no relationship established with them. And you sure don't want to point no boomsticks at you telling you get off their property. So start building those friendships. Start building those relationships right now, because later they're going to be one of the most important resources that you're going to have to call up and fall back on. So that's all I can really think that I wanted to say right now. But again, if you've been prepping for a while, start building your community. That's one of the most important things that you can do right now. So I dedicate this video to my grandson, little Joe. Hopefully this video outlasts me, and he'll be able to see this video later, and I can pass these skills down to him. So I will talk to you later. Hope this benefits everyone. You guys have one wonderful day, and bye-bye.